I'm joined in studio right now by Sandy Owens Carmody, who is the co-owner of the Tumwater Inn Restaurant and Lounge. And well, I wish we were meeting under different circumstances. Sandy, of course, the Tumwater Restaurant and Lounge, a long-time advertiser here on NCW Life. And it's sad news to hear that you're closing.
Well, Steve, it is, and thank you. And I know it's been years since you and I have seen each other.
Oh, it's been a long time.
You spoke at Leavenworth Rotary several years ago, which we really enjoyed. And yes, Leavenworth, the Tumwater restaurant is the oldest operating restaurant there, and so a very important part of history in the town. And I want to say probably 1998, 1999, when the Edelweiss closed, that left us out of what you would say the Tyrol, the Edelweiss, and the Tumwater restaurant. And you know, the Tumwater has been known for decades in this region. The 40s, the 50s, the 60s. We used to have the area next door to us, and folks came and danced, and a lot of good memories made in that place.
Well, obviously, it's going to be a big loss to the community of Leavenworth. And it was a rather sudden decision to close, or what were the circumstances?
Well, we have new building owners that had purchased the building near the end of 2015, and we had met with them in January of 16, so you know, about 20 months before our lease was due to come, which is in August this year, and it was our desire to renew. You know. This is what I've done for like the last 30 years. I mean, I bought the restaurant then with my ex-husband when I was in my 20s. So it's, you know, it's been a huge part of my life, and my emotional commitment too, as far as Leavenworth, has just been gigantic. So in having communication with people for over a year, if you will, and then to get a letter April 3rd saying we're not going to be able to renew your lease. And so we, my husband and I, Charlie, literally couldn't even wrap our heads around it. We were just so in shock. It was just nothing short of astounding. We hired an attorney and, of course, talked and tried to figure out what we could do. And even as a last-ditch resort, you know, we asked these folks, gosh, can't you even just let us operate through the end of the year? Because, you know, one of the things we all know about North Central Washington and our tourism towns, whether we look at Chelan or we look at Leavenworth, is for us, the first half of the year, we do minimal business. It actually, I'm on a side street, even though, you know, we're the oldest operating restaurant, but it costs us money to open our doors. And then finally we get to July, and the second half of the year is actually where you make the money in order to carry you through the first half of the year. So it was really a hope, especially for our staff. I wanted them to be able to work through the second half of the year. December's the busiest month in town.
Yeah, it would be,
you know?
Obviously.
So it seemed like, God, can we at least do this, you know, and then have these folks off in the winter if they've got to be on unemployment, you know, but at least let them work during the busy time. And if, you know, whatever your plans are in remodeling that space, do it in the winter.
Yeah. Well, Sandy, obviously it's the mom and pop owned businesses here in the Wenatchee area that really define our communities. So what are the plans going forward? I mean, are there any plans to relocate or reopen?
No, I'll tell you, you know, this is part of one of the things that has been so tragic about this is, and this is ironic, Charlie and I have talked about this at just no end. We, our liquor store closed up there the end of April last year, and that building went up for lease or sale. And had we had the kind of building owners like I think a lot of local building owners that actually live there, and let's say they'd given us a year's notice, you know, they'd said, hey, we've changed our mind, you know, we're not going to be able to do this looking ahead, we've got other plans, and we want to give you ample time so you can relocate, or you know, buy a building or build a building or do something. But that opportunity's gone, and it's ironic, you know, my husband's in his 60s, he's out of job. I'm in my late 50s. I don't have a job. You know,
starting over.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can't even begin to say how this all feels. And then, like you and I were just talking before we started, I was diagnosed with cancer the end of September. So I just went through all of that. You know, in October I missed like 9 weeks of work. So that in and of itself was really hard through the holiday season and even just getting back to work in January. And like I said, you kind of feel like you're in the middle of a bad nightmare.
Well, we invited Sandy to join us here on the program today just to give you an opportunity, of course, to send a message out to your longtime customers and certainly your employees.
You know, we have so many good memories, and the Wenatchee Valley, whether we have customers here in Wenatchee, Kashmir, Chelan, wherever they are,